I've cut the other strips out. This is going to be part 3 and hopefully the final part of this canvas gun mantlet cover for any Centurion in 1/16. They should work for the Tamiya, Tongdi, as well as the Haya, or even Ludwig's Hobby, because it should all be the same scale and the same diameters and dimensions. So those are strips, they're all 2mm. So I can put the bolts down the middle of them at 1mm, so it's easier that way to divide and stuff. And I'm going blind, I need to get some proper glasses. What I'm going to do now is take this off. I don't need this on here because it just makes it sit out too proud. And what I'm going to do is I could use this, but I need a bit more oomph, I think. So I'm going to use my proper powered Proxon. Okay, but you can probably get away with using the little one, but I just want to get this done. So yeah, so I'm sitting in my model room. It's quite a nice view outside. It's a nice day. I haven't got all my lights on, so sorry if there's, don't you dare fluorescent tube. So yeah, so let's get on with that. I'll get that taken off and then I'll show you what it looks like with it off. Right, this is the grinding bit I'm going to use on the Proxon. It's, try that. Just it's got quite a flat tip, and then I can run it along on here, along the part. And also when you do this, get yourself some eye protection, because this stuff flies off everywhere. And also make sure you ruffle your hair or something when you're finished, because you can get bits of plastic in your hair and then you don't realise. Take the eye protection off and then it falls in your eye. Anyway, see you in a bit. I'll just quickly show you doing this. So see the flat bit? And you basically work your way along that way. Okay, I'm not going to do this all on camera because I don't want to cock it up, but yeah. And then you can take this whole thing off by using the Proxon with that flat end router. Okay. The other thing is, if you want to, fellas, make it a bit easier. This here looks really messy. It doesn't matter because it's going to be covered by the thing, and you have to take off the attachment circle there because that goes on the outside of the mantlet. I made a bit of a cock up under here, so I'm just going to clean this up a little bit. But that goes now. You can also take this mantlet off by unscrewing the 2 little Allen keys here. And funnily enough, let me just take this out of the cradle. That's the attachment for the BB recoil to the servo here. Alright, I put some washers on mine to try and tighten up a little because it's a little teeny bit loose. Does the job. So let me get that finished up and then we'll put the cloth in the quickly. Right, so there it is cleaned up. I've just got to put this back on. Yeah, so it's these 2 little Allen key bolts. Holds this on, so on there. And on there. And the front of the mantlet comes off. Okay. So this looks a bit messy, but don't worry, because you're not going to see it. I just want to get rid of that. And anyway, this is quite textured, so you could get away with that, you know. So there's that bit. Let's crack on with the other bits. Oh yes, and I had to get rid of the circle here because otherwise this bit won't fit flush. And I'm in 2 minds what to do around here, whether to actually glue it on here and just make sure that I can pull it back so I can get these out. But I want to get some crinkles, so no, I'm not going to do that. I might, like, it's a double-sided tape, I think. All right, everybody, I'm just masking up where I'm going to cut to get rid of the excess bits of attachments for the canvas gun cover attachment points. If that makes sense. So I'm just going to cut this out. I'm going to scribe it down first so I know where the line is. I'm just going to use a bit of straight plastic so it's bendable. Credit card do it as well. And then, yeah, then I will grind that down. And it won't be noticeable because it's going to be textured. Just when you texture this turret, if you're using liquid cement or Mr. Surfacer, make sure you don't get it in the line where the turret attaches together or she'll glue it together. And you don't want to do that. So I'm using a small metal ruler to go to the edge of where the tape is. Okay, then I'm going to scribe. Sorry it's on my lap, but I thought I'd just quickly show you what I mean. So you put the ruler there along the tape line rather than guessing it. And then, hope this is bloody focusing, gently, just gently go along the ruler and it should start leaving a scribe mark. You don't need to like be mad with this. See? And this is the bit you've got to take off to make it work, because otherwise this will be sticking out where the fabric is and you'll know it's wrong. Okay? So now I'm going to take my handy little cordless drill grinder, but it's got a chuck, and this is what I like about it, because you can just no puns intended, chuck another grinder or a what's it called, a drill bit in, and you haven't got to worry about changing collets. It drives me nuts, collets. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to grind along this line to get this little bit off. It doesn't need to be perfect, because like I said, this is going to be textured anyway, and you can use a bit of filler if it goes wrong, but just be careful using filler and everything else. This line here, that's where the turret bottom joins onto the turret top. You do not want to get anything that can stick this together in there. And what I might do when I texture this, I might actually unscrew it a little bit and pop the turret floor off. So when I'm using texturing Mr. Surfacer and all that, it dries. So when I put this back together again, it's not stuck, because that would be a disaster, okay? So let me start grinding this off. I can't really show you me doing it because I can't really find an angle which is, let's have a go, which is convenient for me to see and you to see. Let's do this little bit. So you see I'm following the cut line. Now I'm going to go to one of my smaller flat dental burrs and then to work the rest of this down a little bit neater. But like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. All right. And then just a good old bit of sandpaper just to smooth it out. Like I say, this is all going to have to be textured. The Centurion turrets are not this smooth, they're quite textured. And I'm going to be getting rid of this and putting my own wire on and stuff. So if I damage it, doesn't matter. But yeah, like I say, if you want to put the cowling on, then I would leave it to what Haya's done and make it look a bit further out instead of doing all this, or else it'll be a lot more work and you'd have to repaint. So if you can see, it's tidied up a bit. Now, like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. And you see it's straight. It goes straight down, which is actually what happens. So the securing strip will now fit like that. Otherwise it would have been like this. And they don't look like that. So let's say keep it at, it will come down like that, this angle, and then you won't have to do any of this and repaint. Okay, you don't have to really do this either. I'm just being a bit finicky and doing it exactly as the pictures I've got of the real tank. So you can just leave this bottom section off of the turret, not have this have the same gap as it always has, and still put this on. So the canvas cover still works perfectly fine if you want to do it that way as well. So I'm going to start on the other side with this bigger one. Always remember, always use the right size tool for the amount you need to remove. If you use this little teeny one to try and remove that amount outside that score line, it'll be a real mess. But if you use this one, it kind of covers it so that you're only doing it in one action rather than a few, and one action will keep it flat. And here's this side taken off. So it should be like that, okay, for the attachments on the tank. It's weird, it doesn't look straight because of the angle of the turret, but it is straight, and that's how it is. And in fact, sometimes on the tank, when the strip comes down, it actually has a separate bit here, and then another strip going along the bottom. So that's how it works. I did a bit better on this one with just the large dental burr, so I think I'll just use sandpaper to tidy this one up rather than having to use the smaller dental burr. But I guess, you know, whenever you do anything, the first time's always dodgy, the second time should be a lot better, hopefully. Anyway, A little teeny thing, if you're not sure you got it all, it's quite good. The colour of the plastic underneath and the paint on the top works as a wonderful guide coat. So if you can still see a gap, then sand it down until all of that dark paint's gone, and then you know you've got all of it. I might have to put a little bit of filler on these because I want to get this flat so I can attach the canvas to it easier. All right, so yeah, so right, so there we go. That's it with it done. I might make this into one video on its own on how to correct the gun mantlet to fit the strips, because it's quite a bit. I'm gonna have to put a little bit of filler maybe on these so that I've got a flat surface, because it's quite over, but then the rest of it should be fine. Like, I might make this in a video today and pop it up, and then we'll get on to actually putting the cloth cover on and securing it. Like I say, the stuff here doesn't matter if it's a bit gnarly because you won't see it, but here you want to try and make sure there's no remnants of the lip of the old moulding for the attachment strip that's welded on the tank. All right, so that looks right, I think. Like I say, if you want to do this and put the canvas gun cover on without doing any of this, just don't do any of this. You could probably even get away with not taking that off, but you could because you won't see it. But this you can't do because you will see it and you have to repaint. Alrighty, so just leave it where it was. Okay, just leave it where it was and it'll be fine. All right. Yeah, so next video will be putting the actual gun cover on, and then I should be able to get on this quite quickly. This is a bit that's been daunting me because it's all a bit faffy. It's not highest for. I mean, the Tamiya one hasn't got cloth, does it? It's got that weird rubber thing. And then if you want to use it, you got to put the other weird rubber thing on with the big slots. So, you know, that wasn't ideal either. Anyway. Have a nice weekend. If you like to share, subscribe, and yeah, well then.